Intro. I am in a state of awe. Signposts of God are all around us and in us. We are so busy texting on the freeway of life that we don't even see the signs that are everywhere. A while ago, my brother John sent me a link called The Christ Oil. I'm really interested in seeing all the various alchemy practices that exist around the world. This human body is so intricate, and yet the secrets are all around us. The secrets are in clear sight if you are open-minded. One of my major models is that you are your own chemistry set. Nothing can be further from the truth. Your life is created by the chemicals that only you produce. Nobody else produces these chemicals for you. Well, maybe when you take Western medicine, you take a drug that has side effects. Yet every single thought you have, a chemical gets released into your bloodstream. This has been documented by scientists in the last 20 years or so. I find it fascinating that we see less than 1% of the light spectrum, yet we think we are so advanced. Look at the world today, then you will see we are off balance. We need to recalibrate all the systems externally and internally. We are a ship without a rudder. Yet this human body contains the operating system, hardware, and software. They have been there all your life. The problem is we have never turned on the computer. We look for happiness external, yet we look for trillions of years and we won't be able to find it. That is a fact. Western scientists has come so far in the last 20 years. They have mapped out the mind-body connection. So much incredible work is done in this field. This book will go through the systems that have been taught for thousands of years and the latest scientific research on this subject. I'm amused by the various different procedures producing sublime chemicals in the human body. It seems to me the entire universe exists inside of you. Grunac once said, everyone knows that the ocean contains drops of water, but only a wise man understands that a drop contains the entire ocean. Welcome to the mysteries of the universe that exists inside of you. Each one of the systems are so incredible and marvelous. Just think, the map of the universe exists inside of you. And what are you doing about it? Most of us are so locked into our day-to-day routines that we never stop for a moment. Only through entering silence can one understand what I'm talking about. This is not a theory. This is so much more. There is so much hope today. Dr. Joe Dispenza said it recently that only 10 years ago, most of his audience just wanted to have theories or philosophy. Today, the times have changed, and people want a direct experience to the quantum field. Scientists are blown away because they see the first-hand effects of the latest scientific equation. What is occurring in this room? Millions are miracles are occurring. Yet, are they miracles? Scientists discover that so many unknown and unique chemicals gets released into the bloodstream and thereby cure illnesses that have troubled them individual for years. We are on a We are on a precipice that we understand the quantum field and our relation to it. In essence, we are all one. The goal of all the systems I have studied said the same thing. Mind you, they have a different process, yet the results are one and the same. We are all scientists and mystics. This is our true nature. The laboratory exists inside of you. You can morph and change if you like. The tools are out there today. Many of these tools in the past were forbidden for the common man to have. Times have changed. The world needs to unite. If we don't unite, then we will go down the rabbit hole that we are on. We all saw enough. We are sawing off the branch that we are sitting on. We have insurmountable problems in this world today. With any problem, there is a solution. You are a piece of the puzzle. You are needed to put your piece of the puzzle into the puzzle of life. The goal of any civilization is to go from darkness to light. When a civilization refuses to embrace the light over time, the civilization will simply disappear and never return again. War is obsolete. It always has been obsolete. The reason we go to war is because we don't know our true nature. We have not tamed the mind. The mind is the most difficult thing to conquer in the universe. We are at a kindergarten level when it comes to our state of mind. Mind you, a kindergartner is more innocent and pure than our state of mind. The days of bullying, mockery, fighting, and all sorts of chaotic behaviors is over. We can change for the better. As I said many times before, the chemistry set lies inside of you. Take a look at your actions. Take a look at your emotions. Take a look at your thoughts. By doing so, you will see practically the results in your day-to-day affairs with this world. Your emotional state and mental state determines the actions that you take in life. Just think, if you are unhappy and you think, if I become a billionaire, I will be happy. Yet, you may acquire $1 billion, but in your present state of unhappiness, you still will be unhappy with $1 billion. $1 billion brings another set of problems, more profound than you ever imagined. Happiness is a state of mind. If you think that happiness exists externally, then you will be unhappy the rest of your life. The wise man contemplates and ponders over the meaning of life. The ignorant man just goes on his merry way without ever questioning the meaning behind these words. I'm not sure why man is so lethargic in life. Shouldn't this be common sense? Man has been in strife for thousands of years, yet we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. We are getting strangled by our technology. Our technology is supposed to make life easier. Instead, it makes life more complicated. For example, people are married to their phones. That used to be a fine line between your working life and personal life. This is no longer the case. Technology is placing us in a box where we are trapped in. I find it fascinating that the mass social media organizations realize that we are our own chemistry sets. Unfortunately, they hire the brightest minds today. Their goal is to make you addicted to their platform so they can make more money. They purposely cause you to be more addicted to their platform than a cocaine addict. I'm not kidding you when I say this. I have written a book called Pandora's Box, which explains this in more detail. The science of discovering your inner chemistry lies inside of you. Every single moment you're either creating chemicals which are good for you or chemicals which will ultimately kill you. This human body can live much more longer than we think. At times, I think it is a miracle that we are still alive today. In the United States, we spend more money on health care than any country in the world. Each year, we have to spend billions more. Each year, the population is getting sicker and sicker. Almost everyone is pre-diabetic and not knowing it. A ticking time bomb exists inside of us. We have lost touch with nature and the universe. Many people would probably say, who cares? Well, the more a society is distant from nature and the universe, the more chaotic the society will be. Common sense is uncommon, and yet we think we have common sense. We are wearing blinders over our eyes. We think we can see clearly and properly. I don't want to be an alarmist, but the ship we are on has a hole in it. We need to fix it ASAP. You may laugh at this. Millions of people are waking up from their slumber. There is great hope. Ponder this over. Remember, you are a piece of the puzzle. Laughter is the best medicine. How is it? I have a friend on the other side. I haven't seen in over 35 years. Yet my connection to him is stronger than ever. Zoran once told me that laughter is the best medicine. When you laugh, it changes the molecular structure of your biology. You literally create happy cells. Anger creates anger cells, which can lead to cancer. I won't call this book The Life and Teachings of Zoran. He probably wouldn't go so far as that. Zoran taught quite differently from many ordinary teachers. When he was on stage, he would have a treasure chest of toys. Alf was one of them. He would hand someone a toy, and it would make that person a child again. Somehow he believed in the simple power of transformation by being a child. We would always laugh and laugh when we were together. At times he would say that we would have to bring our laughter down a couple levels because it was getting too difficult for Makar to shout. Believe it or not, but Zoran had a mystery school on a planet called Nucleus. They had begun all over they had beings all over the universe coming to this school. They studied the mysteries of the quantum field. It was quite sophisticated, yet so simple. They have a Stargate where they can go anywhere in the universe. They also learn through meditation to travel anywhere in the universe in a second. One can never totally understand the mysteries of the quantum field. It is beyond time and space. So where am I going with this? Did you know the stronger the emotion is, the more impact it has on your cellular memory? That means if you had a trauma that occurs 30 years ago and you still hold on to that trauma, it is still around today. The mind and body do not know the difference between your thinking about the trauma and the actual event which caused the trauma. As I said many times before, 95% of our actions come from the subconscious mind. Let's see how laughter, joy, and humor come into the picture. When I was 13 years old, my dad gave my brother and me a surfing lesson from Mickey Munoz, a famous surfer of the time. I remember the very first wave he put me on. It was only around 1 foot. But that joy of just riding a 1 foot wave is still with me today. I can totally sense this memory as I was when I rode that wave. Now, imagine being in school and you have a boring teacher who is bored stiff. She says, "Johnny, turn to page 36 and read the first paragraph." How can we learn in a state of boredom? How can we learn when we live our lives by the past traumatic events that define us? I hope you can laugh one way or the other at what I'm saying. Either little Ricky is off his rocker, or maybe there is something to this laughter, joy, humor, and comedy towards life. Did you know any emotion affects your neural networks? I mean, any emotion. Just think, someone does you wrong. One tends to hold on to it for a few days. That becomes a mood. The longer we hold on to it, the more our neural networks are wired to it. The more we hold on to it, the more it becomes our personality. The majority of mankind is in a loop process where they are playing the same tapes over and over and over again. These tapes are stored in the mind and body. Unfortunately, we have no idea that we are playing these tapes over and over again. Laughter, humor, and being in a state of a child is the key to removing these old tapes. The more one is aware, moment by moment, and in a state of humor and laughter, we can rewire the neural networks. What does that mean? A wise man just smiles at life. He has nothing to say or prove. While most of us will hold on to our beliefs, we can never listen to the other side of the coin. We blame ourselves and we blame others for the condition that we are in. A wise man blames no one, not even himself. He has learned that everything is a lesson to learn. These learning experiences took him to a place where he learned how to reprogram himself. This is a mature and emotional human being living life to the fullest. As we get older, we get more serious and stuck in our ways. We develop a narrow vision in life. Many people only see the chaos in the life. The wise man sees the web that ties us all together. He understands there is a video game of life. We are going from darkness to light. The mystics of old and the scientists of today are both talking about the same thing. I hope you get something out of this book. I'm talking about how incredible the chemistry set is inside of us. Currently, mankind, because of ignorance, is sawing off the branch we are sitting on. Our chemistry sets are totally out of sync. There is no harmony in the human body and mind. Consequently, chaos exists inside and outside of us. Common sense is uncommon. We love the apathy that we are in. We don't want to change for the better. We, we don't think there's any way out of the predicament we are in. We still think we can find happiness in this world. If I only had this and I only had that. We have two options for how to live our lives in this world. One is a current state of like leaves blowing to the wind. Our emotional states are dictated by the external events around us. A wise person lives in the center of the hurricane where there is perfect calm. He laughs at life. He laughs when a curveball is thrown at him. He laughs when the external event is a gift outside of him. He knows that nothing external can quench the thirst within. When one drinks the water of life, one loses the attachment of looking in this world for the answer. My advice is to get in touch with the child within and start laughing again. That child is always there. It has never left you. Your true nature is laughter, humor, and dancing to the rhythm of life. Create My Day by Joe Dispenza. I wake up in the morning and I consciously create my day the way I want it to happen. Now sometimes, because my mind is examining all the things I need to get done, it takes me a little bit to settle down and get to the point of where I'm actually intentionally creating my day. But here's the thing. When I create my day and out of nowhere, little things happen that are also unexplainable. I know that they are the process or the result of my creation. And the more I do that, the more I build a neural network in my brain that I accept that that's possible. That gives me the power and the incentive to do it the next day. So if we consciously designing our destiny, and if we're consciously, from a spiritual standpoint, throwing in with the idea that our thoughts can affect our reality or affect our life, because reality equals life, then I have this little pact that I have, which I create my day. I say, I'm taking this time to create my day, and I'm infecting the quantum field. Now, if it is, in fact, the observer watching me the whole time, then I'm doing this, and there is a spiritual aspect to myself, then show me a sign today that you paid attention to one of these things that I created, and being them in a way that I wouldn't expect. So I'm as surprised at my ability to be able to experience these things, and make it so that I have no doubt that it comes from you. And so I live my life, in a sense, all day long thinking about being a genius. I'm thinking about being the glory and the power of God, or thinking about being unconditional love. I use living as a genius, for example. as I do that during parts of the day I have thoughts that they are so amazing that cause a child in my physical body, a chill in my physical body that have come from nowhere. But then I remember that the thought has an associated energy that's produced and an effort in my physical body. Now that's a subjective experience. But the truth is that I don't think that unless I was creating my day to have unlimited thoughts, that thought would come. Dr. Joe Dispenza, and what the bleep do we know? What is heart coherence? Heart coherence is a high performance and healthy state physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually that brings out the very best in us. The term's coherence implies harmonious order, consciousness, stability, and efficient use of energy. Coherence can be seen all around us when we absorb through the lens of the heart. The beauty and intricate balance of nature is a magnificent demonstration of coherence. Increased coherence happens at times within the human experience too. For example, most of us have had days when everything seemed to flow. We felt good, composed, and clear. We were able to adapt quickly to whatever came our way with balance and poise. In the 1990s, HeartMath Institute researchers identified a psychological state called heart coherence, a type of coherence that occurs when our body systems, our breathing, heart rhythms, brain rhythms, and hormonal response are in sync with each other. They also discovered that heart coherence not only affects physical processes, but also our mental and emotional balance and composure. Their researchers showed that heart coherence can be self-generated, leading to less mental and emotional stress and more inner security and stability. In summary, heart coherence is a synchronized and empowering state, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, allowing us to become our best selves. Karma. Stop bouncing the ball. This was an absolutely incredible session of Karma. It was probably the most simplest and practical solution that I've ever heard. She was amazing in her presentation. Karma has always been somewhat of a mystery to me. I never knew exactly what it was and the mechanics of how it operated. Yes, I know the theory for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. I know about good karma and bad karma. But the process to stop karma in its tracks and eliminate karma is altogether a different subject. Mind you, I've been studying this for over 50 years now. But this presentation gave me more incredible insight into karma and how it works. The teacher gave a grand analogy. Suppose you have a ball that you are bouncing. Imagine every action you take, you are bouncing the ball. You take an action and you bounce the ball automatically, whether you like it or not, the ball will bounce back. That statement alone is incredible, that you are responsible for the bouncing of the ball. Nobody else bounces your ball. She goes on and says that the bouncing of the ball has been occurred for thousands of years. We are on a treadmill that isn't going anywhere. To stop this, she simply said, stop bouncing the ball. When one stops bouncing the ball doesn't react. When you stop bouncing the ball, it will take a very short time for the ball just to sit on the ground and do nothing. I also like the fact that she said karma is not conscious or aware. If it was, we would be in serious trouble because we would have a God that judges us for every action we take. Fortunately, karma, the ball, is not aware and is just simply a force of the universe that can be overcome in one's life. The goal is to stop bouncing the ball and at the same time be in a state of self-realization within. I give the analogy of being in the center of a hurricane. Humanity is like leaves blowing in the wind. Karma is chains that bind us. It doesn't matter if the chains are made of gold or some simple metal material. Either way, the chain will bind us. The more one stops bouncing the ball, the greater the realization will be. One will be in the center of the hurricane and not understand the great mysteries of life. When one learns to live in the soul, one truly becomes a human being. We were never taught this in our schools. Maybe the Jains have, but we most definitely didn't learn them. This course has much more subtle in my practice. It truly is fine-tuning the guitar of life. Every action we take, karma has taken place, and yet we are oblivious to it. We strive for happiness in our life. We think a great job, a mansion, and a yacht are the secrets to a good life. We never realize that even by acquiring these, we still have golden chains bound to our souls. Ultimately, that will never make us happy. I'm quite impressed by the Jains who discovered this thousands of years ago. Can you imagine coming up with such a great realization and then putting it into such sublime words? Future generations could use the roadmap for their own liberation. I find that extremely daunting and incredible to see. We can learn from the wise men of the past. Unfortunately, we are so blinded that we truly can't believe something like this even exists. Every day we moan and groan about the circumstances in our life. We don't realize that we are responsible for what comes our way. Curveballs will be thrown at you. That is the fact of life. Everything morphs and changes. I mean, everything. When one understands that life is like a merry-go-round, it goes round and around and around. When a person gets tired of this ride, he wants to get off the ride. The only way to get off this ride is to press the red button inside of you and stop the merry-go-round inside of you. When one leaves the merry-go-round, one lives in his true essence. You are the universe and you just don't know. We live our lives thinking this is the ultimate reality. We are merely skimming the surface of the ocean of life. This may seem like an esoteric subject, which it isn't. This is the basic foundation of your life. We are talking about you and how you can understand your true nature. The wise men of old have studied this for thousands of years. They have great instruction manuals for you to read and implement in your life. What good is a driver's manual if you never drive your car? You have a car that has been sitting in your inner garage. The garage door is closed. The car is full of cobwebs and spider webs. One may have faint glimpses of the car exists inside. The goal of human life is to take that car out for a spin on the freeway of life. You were meant to drive that precious car. That car is your true existence. That freedom that you seek, that happiness that you seek, that joy that you seek, it all lies inside of you. This car is who you truly are. One who has become so identified externally that we have forgotten our true nature. I would highly advise you, if you want to have a happy life, to try this in your life. Maybe the next time some instance comes your way and you could get angry about the situation, just hesitate and don't react at all. Practice this over and over again. You will see that situation no longer bothers you at all. In fact, by not responding at all, you remain calm. Calmness is your true nature. Getting flustered and angry is not your true nature. Even if something good comes your way, do the same thing. You will see that you have been driven by your emotions and mind. When you experience positive emotions, life is good. When you experience negative emotion, life is a drag and a burden. We live our entire life this way. We blame others for our mistakes. We think that we have done something wrong. We think other people's lives are better than ours. We have all these different feelings about how life is treating us. We can get off this bandwagon and experience life as it truly is. Life is absolutely incredible. Life is full of love, joy, and creativity. We should be like a surfer taken off of the wave of a lifetime. Once he is in the zone, one is not thinking about making the wave or wiping out. A surfer is in the flow with the wave of life and becomes one with it. He doesn't know how to do fancy tricks or try to outmaneuver the wave. He doesn't get into the contest of life and see who's the better surfer. I lost that heat by less than 1 point. He doesn't get into the competition side of surfing. Surfing is an art and allows one to be in harmony with the universe and nature. We are all surfers. That wave exists inside of you. You can learn how to surf the wave and be in clarity every moment in your life. One who learns how not to react to any given situation is truly a wise man. A wise man simply smiles at life. There's nothing to say or prove. Unfortunately, we have plenty to say or prove. If someone doesn't think the way we do, we let them have it. We will tell them they're wrong and I am right. My religion is better than your religion. My ideas are better than your ideas. Wars have been started this way. When one lives in the scattered winds of the mind, chaos occurs. We have seen this going on for thousands of years, with no end in sight. To make this world a better place, you must make your inner world a better place. For peace on earth to occur, you must establish peace inside of you. There's a battle going on inside of you. The mind is constantly biting you. It's like a mosquito bite that gets agitated over and over again. At times, the mosquito bite seems to go away, and then, for some unknown reason, they start biting you again. You itch and can't quite find out how to stop the itching. I remember for around 20 years, even when I first started meditating, my stomach was never truly satisfied. It always had a tinge of anxiousness to it. Meditation makes one aware of your inner feelings. Yet one day, I woke up and it never came back again. Meditation and concentration is the way to remove issues that have been hiding inside of us. Each one of us has different issues to deal with. Each one of us has different karma that affects us. For your own material happiness, I hope maybe you might take this to heart. You might see that externally, if I focus only to that, I will not change for the better. I will continue to go on and on this merry-go-round. Granted, you may obtain all the goals that you want externally. You may have all the money in the world. You may be able to travel wherever you want, whenever you want, and for as long as you want. But tell me, does that make you truly satisfied? Only a wise man who has conquered his mind was truly satisfied. The only one who discovers how to live in the center of a hurricane is satisfied. You can own the entire world, yet you're still living like leaves blowing in the wind. Alexander the Great conquered much of the world, yet he was completely unsatisfied. He even said, I come into this world empty-handed, and I leave on my deathbed empty-handed. I say the spiritual path is the most practical path. One must have his feet on the ground and his head in heaven. We can go on forever bouncing the ball of karma. We have been doing this for eons as it is. We have the opportunity for this message to truly sink in, at the same time to go in one ear and out the other. The mind can say, you don't want this. You like that, as you like life as it is, and you don't want to change it. Well, that's okay. We're not here to change you. You must change yourself. All we are saying there is a road that you can travel on inside of you. You are born a traveler. Currently, you are a wanderer. A wanderer doesn't even know that he has a true home. We wander aimlessly in this world. We are searching for something externally, when all we have to do is look inside for the answer. It is as simple as that. Somehow we think the spiritual life is for those who have high intelligence. My intelligence is average. I couldn't even answer one single question during the Jane lecture series. But did that stop me? No, it didn't. I know the next day, when I got up, if I went over the material and wrote what I discovered, I would understand what they were talking about. This path is a path meant to be pondered over. One must contemplate and ponder over life to understand life. The Jains have been on this for thousands of years. Even in my early days of meditation, I didn't understand the true meaning of pondering. I didn't understand the importance of why one should ponder. I see these young, incredible kids presenting short introductions to each class. Some are only 10 years old and already have such great wisdom. You are the company that you keep. These kids have incredible mentors like their parents and grandparents. They have their aunts and uncles and friends. When I was in India, I heard many stories in which they said, "You are the company that you keep." If you keep company with a band of people that love to steal items from others, then you will become a thief. We emulate our external surroundings. I grew up in Newport Beach, California, and the culture around me was high class and refined. The people there are great. I love growing up. I still have many of my friends today, yet somehow I knew I had something inside of me that I could not tap into externally. I must admit, I'm not conventional at all. At times, I am an outcast. I buck the system. I know that no matter how incredible my life was up to that point, there's something inside of me that was so much more than I can ever imagine. I know that there were five senses. We lived that way our entire life. Yet I knew we had five internal senses. These are doorways to the soul. Going back to the bouncing ball, the deeper our understanding this true nature, the easier it will be to stop bouncing the ball. Even if one doesn't have a great meditation practice, one can learn to consciously stop the urge to react. Yes, this will take practice. Rome was not built in a day. It must go from your consciousness to your subconsciousness. Currently, 95% of your subconscious is running the show. Yet, you can overcome this by your will. They say a wise man sees his mind in motion, sets his mind in motion by his will, not the other way around. We live our lives with the mind commanding us what to do. We are not in command of our minds. That is a major difference. The Jains are incredible psychologists, and we are barely skimming the surface. The majority of our minds are unclear and experience so much internal stress and chaos. We have not been trained on how to have a healthy mind. Yes, unfortunately, we think there's nothing wrong with me. I love my lifestyle, and what can I do with it? Look at my life. No matter how much glamour and getting one as one must understand that the jewel exists inside of you. There's a video game going on. You are part of this game. There's an infinite amount of levels to go through. For thousands of years, we have just been on level 0. This is the most basic level where mankind fights with one another. We have slogans like the 60s, where in like the 80s, where Wall Street would say, greed is good. We have mass shootings at schools. We refuse to have gun laws because it takes away our freedom. I could go on and on and on. We are responsible for the world external. We can make this world a better place. A wise man understands that he can stop karma in its tracks. By doing so, he fulfills his piece of the puzzle in life. You can do this if you like. Our world would be in a better place if we all simply did this in every moment of our lives would be so much richer and grander than our current state of existence. We can truly solve all the world's problems. Can you imagine if you discovered your true nature? The universe could provide answers to all our problems of life. We would not have the junk food industry, which is causing disaster in our bodies all around the world. I find it amusing. They know their food makes people addictive, and yet they still do it because it makes them great wealth. No wonder they call this the age of darkness. Common sense is uncommon. Going back to karma again, I would like to thank the teacher for presenting such an awesome subject in a way that I truly understood. She made it so practical, and at the same time, I could understand what I can do practically to stop karma in its tracks. I apologize to anyone if I have said anything that may continue contain misinformation. Gratitude. Let's go back to the chapter on what is heart coherence. We learned the following. In the 1990s, Heart Math Institute researchers identified a psychological state called heart coherence, a type of coherence that occurs when our body systems, our breathing, heart rhythms, brain rhythms, and hormonal response are in sync with each other. They also discovered that heart coherence not only affects physical processes, but also our mental and emotional balance and composure. Their researchers showed that heart coherence can be self-generated, leading to less mental and emotional stress and more inner security and stability. In summary, heart coherence is a synchronized and an empowering state physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, allowing us to become our best selves. Just think, in schools, we were never taught about heart coherence or heart synchronicity. Most of the world is totally oblivious of this still today. Chaos is all around us and in us. Disease is rampant all around the world. We are divorced from nature and the universe, and the consequences are coming our way. As I said, you are a piece of the intricate puzzle in life. You are magnificent despite what others tell you and what you tell yourselves. You are a miracle. The problem is nobody told you how to use your chemistry set. The unfortunate thing that is occurring to you is that your life is spent searching and striving for happiness externally. That is a major problem. We are so far away from Mother Nature and the harmony of the universe. Many people think, why should I? What good is it for me? They have no interest whatsoever in discovering their true nature. Unfortunately, they are in charge of their own chemistry sets, and yet they don't know they are in charge. They wonder why so much misery and pain exists inside their lives and outside. They try to control and manipulate everything to try to be satisfied in their lives. Life can be a rocky road. We grow through our obstacles. Even if a person is totally in sync with nature and the universe, curveballs will still be thrown your way. That is the law of the universe. Nobody gets a free ride. The ancient ones from the past thought about gratitude. Gratitude is a highly devotional, emotional state which we all can learn to cultivate more in our daily life. Gratitude is the means to stop the bouncing ball of cause and effect in our life. The Heart Institute has been studying gratitude since the 1990s. The Buddhists, yogis, and Jains have been studying gratitude for thousands of years. Today, there is a marriage between science and the mystics of old. A wise man understands the importance of cultivating gratitude in one's life. When a person is in a state of gratitude, nothing externally can touch him. Nothing will bother him. He will have no hard feelings towards others. He will simply smile at life. This may seem impossible to you. I am not in that state, that's for sure. But one learns to stumble and fall and carry on in one's life. Life is a series of lessons where it is 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. This is how we grow. Gratitude is a gift from the universe to help us get in sync with our true nature. When we are not in a state of gratitude, we see the movie of life is so real that we get sucked up into it. We go through all the drama of life. We wander through life, wondering, where is the happiness we're looking for? A traveler knows that he is heading home to his destination. He has a sense of purpose. Every day is an incredible adventure. The average person lives in a state of reaction. They are like leaves blowing in the wind. The mind controls them. Every day, through their thoughts, emotions, and actions, they go further into darkness. When they hear there is a way out of this darkness, they get angry at you. What a predicament we are in. A wise man learns how to live in the center of the hurricane. In the center is perfect calm. All the worldly concerns of the world are gone. This is our natural state. The state of your mind and emotions determine the state of the chemistry set inside of you. Most people have no idea that the chemistry set even exists. Just think, we see only 1% of the light spectrum. 95% of our actions come from our subconscious mind. It seems like the poker game of life. The cards are stacked against us. This is why the ancient ones and the modern-day neuroscientists say you don't have to play the game any longer. There's a scientific way and a spiritual way to get out of the mess that we have created. Cultivating gratitude is one way for one to learn how to balance the chemistry set inside of you. In the state of being in gratitude, stress hormones are non-existent. No negative emotions exist. The mind, body, and soul are in harmony with each other. Granted, this doesn't happen overnight. The farmer knows this. He plants the seeds, and he takes care of his garden. He waters the garden. He removes the weeds from the garden. He understands the process of his seed being planted in the ground and the harvesting of the crop. That's the same step the farmer takes, we must take to cultivate our inner garden. This journey is quite simple, yet it seems so hard. Many people say, I can't meditate. When I sit down, my mind goes crazy. Would you say that to a person who came home from a long vacation? I mean a long vacation, and they discover their house is extremely dusty. Just think, try, trying to sweep the cobwebs off the walls, so much dust would be in the air. We would say that would be crazy if they didn't continue further. It's just a matter of time and the effort to bring the house back to its natural state. So when a person sits down for the first time, or even it's been for years, imagine you are performing house clean beside of you. The state that you realize that your mind is causing havoc means that you are at least aware of your condition. That condition has always been there, yet you weren't conscious of it. Just being conscious of it is worth more than all the gold on earth. It's a major stepping stone for you to go from darkness to light. It's a good thing we put so many expectations on. It's a good thing we put so many expectations on the process and what we think the process should be. I've been meditating for over 50 years. I understand that it's the fine tuning of the guitar of life. We don't leap into eternity. Meditation isn't only when you close your eyes. The goal of meditation is to exist in the world and yet live within the joy that lies within. In other words, feet on the ground and your head in heaven. I say quite often the spiritual path is the most practical path. The spiritual path teaches an individual to be practical in all areas of life. When one understands that this is not some theoretical theory, but a practical experience in every moment in life, the external world then becomes your friend. Today, many of my friends say, "Thank you, leave those things." Many of my friends say that you learn things too easily. I just smile because it always wasn't that way. Read the next chapter on learning how to ride a bicycle. Many of the lessons that we learn when we are young become so valuable when we get older. We can never rest on our laurels. My brother and I say, even if you meditate for over 2 trillion years, this is just a drop of the bucket in eternity. One must be humble in life. The universe is humble. It will not give out the secrets to an individual that is full of ego. Kindness is the foundation of the universe. A person's full of gratitude will be kind. In our world today, many people think that kindness is weakness. In the past few years, it seems like being a bully is something to strive for in our society. We even had a president that championed that cause. His philosophy was never to apologize for whatever he has done. This is a sign of weakness. With principles like this, we're heading down the rabbit hole of darkness. Yet we snicker at others and we think that we are right. There are always two sides to the coin. A wise man simply smiles at life. He has nothing to say or prove. This is our natural state, but obviously we are so far away from it. I see life as a divine comedy. We have such a golden opportunity to change our ways for the better. Modern-day scientists are reflecting and discovering what the great ancient ones have talked about for thousands of years. I love to see the discoveries that modern day scientists are seeing with their own eyes. I'm looking forward to the time when there's a marriage between a mystic and the scientist of today. Can you imagine what kind of discoveries they could see when they discover the quantum field exists inside of them? Just think Einstein could have predicted his theories from the lab within. He could take those concepts like he had an experiment within in the lab within. These are exciting times, my friend. Baby steps are needed. Just baby steps are needed. Just take one step and fall. Laugh at it. Don't take life so seriously, as Bugs Bunny once said. He said, you will never come out of it alive. Smile like a child. Laugh at this world. Be simple. Life is a grand adventure. We take everything so seriously. We watch the news and get so angry. What's going on? We can't stand the other political party. I could go on and on and on. Just take a look at a newborn baby. It's smiling because that is the natural state. As we get older, we smile less and less. We become rigid in life. We lose touch with the innocence inside of us. We become absolutely serious and have lost touch with the humor of life itself. So many people think that a spiritual person must live a boring life. They have misconceptions about what it is to be spiritual. A spiritual person realizes that the world leads such a boring life. You may have all the trinkets of earth. You may be a ruler of earth. You may have $1 trillion. Yet, without living like a child, life has no purpose or meaning. It's strange. The more you have, the more you want to have more. Then it goes on and on and on forever. It's the carrot on the stick of Pharaoh. It's just within reach. You can almost touch it and eat it, yet you never can. This is the state where man is today. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a purpose. I'm saying quite the opposite. I'm saying that when you live in the center of the hurricane, no matter what you have, you will have gratitude. When one has gratitude, he will never be in lack of things. He knows the universe is supporting him. He will turn. He will be in harmony with the earth and the universe. No words can describe that state of mind. We all strive for that in our own ways. The main key is that one has to be aware of the chemistry set of life that exists inside of you. You create your own life. No matter what happens externally, you create your own life. This same event can happen to you and someone else, and yet both of them will have a different experience. One person may see it as a blessing in disguise. The other person may see it as a curse. The state of your chemistry set will reflect what happens and how you respond to any given situation. I love to research and learn more about how we are in charge of our inner chemistry. For me, this is my hobby. We can never rest on our laurels. There is always something new to discover and learn.
Once upon a time, there were two twin brothers named Little Ricky and Little Johnny. Little Johnny was a genius in picking up and learning new things, while Little Ricky was what you would call on the slow side. It took him hundreds of tries to learn new things. For example, one Christmas morning, their wonderful parents presented them both with brand new bicycles. Both of them were so excited. Well, they took them outdoors. Little Johnny hopped on his and immediately started riding down the block. Well, Little Ricky didn't have the same luck. In fact, it was kind of funny to see how clumsy he was. He didn't give up. He knew deep down inside he could learn how to ride this. It took him about a month. The first time he realized that he was actually riding the bicycle, he was filled with joy. He was so grateful. I did it. I didn't give up. This incident carried him all throughout his life. Every time he had to learn something new, he remembered the experience of learning how to ride a bike. In fact, years later, his wife said that he learned things so quickly. Little Ricky just smiled. He knew that life taught him such a precious lesson at such a young age. Never give up. Persevere. You can learn anything. It may just take you time.
June 23, 2020. Tuning the guitar of life. What a glorious day it is. We are alive. That, my friend, is a miracle. Our lives here on earth is a blink in time. And now you see it, and now you don't. Our sense of time can really play havoc on us. We think we have all the time in the world. This is what a man's major downfall. We put off tomorrow what we could do today. Tomorrow never comes. How do we fine-tune this guitar of life? Most of us never bother. Consequently, we don't discover the jewel that lies inside. We don't discover our true nature. You are the universe. You just don't know it. The older I get, I see that the great power lies in being meek and humble. The great Tao created this entire universe. It is meek and humble, yet its power is keeping the entire universe alive. In our society today, being humble and meek is something you don't want to strive to be. Currently, we have an administration that loves to rule by mocking and bullying others. I don't need to talk more about that. Yet all great teachers from the past talk about the virtue of being a child at heart. Your mind talk won't make you happy. Concentrating on every moment on the news won't make you happy. The world has to grow up. We are emotionally immature. Our happiness has been derived from externally for thousands of years. We are still fighting wars. We are still bickering and fighting. Your cell phone hasn't saved you. Common sense is uncommon. God is humble and meek, yet currently we make a mockery of Him. We can't even get along with each other. The universe is coaching us, yet we think we know more than the universe. We are stuck in our ways and won't think outside of our tiny boxes. During this global shutdown, many people refuse to wear masks. I don't have to wear one. How selfish that is. Your grandmother or others might be dependent on you wearing one. No, this is not a rant. This is only a request that we fine-tune the guitar of life. We can, in each moment, change
for the better. Began to be nice to each other. I love stories from the 60s where the Democrats and Republicans would banter each other all day long. In the evenings, they would go to a bar and toast each other with a mug of beer. We can all be different. We all have different sorts of views. Maybe we should rejoice in the diversity of life. Just think, the universe does not judge us, yet we judge each other. So much so that we have anger and hatred in our hearts. We must love that diversity. When you are angry, you are personally drinking your own poison. Science has proven that. You will have cloudy thinking. Science has proven that. Yet the world is still spinning on the treadmill of anger with no end in sight. Though this world would change for the better when you change for the better. It's as simple as that. Your Savior won't save you. It's your responsibility. They will coach you, but you have to play the game. Salvation comes from actions, not believing. Actions are stronger than words. Only by your day-to-day actions can we change this world. We all want peace in our lives. What part are you going to do? Discover the jewel that lies inside. The kingdom of heaven lies inside of you. Be like water. It is humble and meek. Yet don't underestimate the power that it has.
Gratitude. If you want a happier life, express gratitude in your life. Gratitude is the bond which ties the earth and heaven together. It is the glue which binds us all. Modern-day scientists in the West have been studying gratitude for around 30 years. They find when a person is in a state of gratitude, the heart is in resonance and balance. Modern days man's heart is not in balance. So many people today have heart problems. Most of this is by the stress we inflict upon ourselves and the external environment. Gratitude is a state of mind. Imagine planting a seed of gratitude. Daily, you water that seed. You take out the weeds on a daily basis. You take care of your garden. Over time, your garden will flourish. The East have been practicing this for thousands of years. They discovered long ago the flower of gratitude in one's life. Gratitude has a sweet perfume which permeates everywhere. You can see the difference between one who is full of gratitude and one who hates this world. The definition of gratitude is as follows: the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. I like that. Personally, I think the entire universe is in that state of awareness. We have that quality inside of us. We just need to cultivate it. Your world would change so much if you daily cultivated it. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become deeds. Watch your deeds, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Character is everything. When one does this in each and every moment, one has cultivated gratitude.
worry. The definition of worry is as follows. Give way to anxiety or unease. Allow one's mind to dwell on difficulty or troubles. He worried about his soldier's son in the war. To be honest, I've worried much of my life. Quite frankly, it has not brought me anywhere. It has never helped to solve a problem. The problem with worry is that it creates a neural network of its own. The more you worry, the more enhanced is your neural network. Your body and mind think it's addicted to this sensation. It's like a drug addict. Each day, you need stronger doses. This is all running from our subconscious. That's why I say we play the same tapes over and over again. We just reinforce what's already there. Did you know that being in silence will help eliminate your worries? Being in the silent state erases their neural networks of being worried. Mind you, it does not happen overnight. 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. This is how we learn. When we learn how to observe our worries and not get caught up with them, we can change. Being in silence allows us to observe our worries and transfer them. Each time we do this, our worries slowly go away. The next time you get worried, try this. Make a daily practice of going into silence. You can reprogram yourself.
Pure love and gratitude. That's the attitude we need for life. Somewhere along the way, we get lost. We're more cynical about life. At times, we're swimming upstream, going against the current of life. At times, we're barely treading water. We fall off the boat of life without a life jacket. When one discovers pure love and gratitude inside, your life will change for the better. There will always be bumps in the road, yet love and gratitude are shock absorbers. You will still hit the bump, but your road in life will be smoother. Gratitude and love makes the day truly shine. Both of these are essential for discovering your true nature. It's like a magic elixir. You drink it, and slowly over time, your troubles melt away. Your true nature rises to the surface. It's like the cream rises to the top of the milk. You are the universe. You just don't know it. We are all one. When you truly have this understanding, your life will change forever. You will truly smile with life. You will have nothing to prove. You will want to help your fellow man. All the great masters from the past discovered their true nature. All the great books talk about your true nature. Pure love and gratitude is the key. This key can open up your heart. We have been looking externally to find true love and gratitude. It's been there all the time. We have simply looked in the wrong direction. It's that simple. Did you know that pure love and gratitude grows more every day? The source is infinite. There are infinite love and gratitude in the air. We are like the bee gathering nectar from the flower of life. Each day we go inside, we are gathering nectar of love and gratitude. It makes us wiser and humble in life. We can feel the grace of God in our life. We can, moment by moment, experience God's presence. This journey is eternal. Ponder this over. You are a piece of the puzzle in life. You can solve this mystery. You reap what you sow. This is a natural law. If your life is full of anger, you will be an angry person. If your life is full of hate, you will be a hateful person. It's as simple as that. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. The wise man pulls the negative weeds inside of his being. He plants the seeds of kindness, love, and compassion. Daily, he waters the crops and pays attention to it. Over time, he will reap the bounty of his precious crops. All the great masters of the past were incredible farmers of life. He taught many different ways to cultivate the truth inside of us. They taught that the universe is kind. God is kind. The universe does not judge us. God does not judge us. They taught that the most precious jewel lies inside of our heart. Can you imagine that the darkest person on this earth has the truth inside of them, yet they don't know it? How sad is that? Did you know peace would be on earth if the majority of people would wake up from their slumber? Today is a new dawning for man. Let's drop the old energies of anger, hate, and intolerance towards others. Let's embrace kindness, love, and compassion. This is your true nature. You can change. Every day you are changing, whether you like it or not. How about making a conscious change? How about moment by moment monitoring your actions? Will this action place gasoline on the fire of life? Will it inflame the situation? If it will, don't say anything. Just remain silent. If the action is kind, then do it. It takes great strength to do this. It takes practice and patience. You will stumble and fall. This is how the great masters learned. We stumble and fall countless times. Yet over time, we learn from our mistakes and grow. Remember, we sow what we reap. Ponder this over. This is one key to understand your life.
Self-regulate. Self-regulate is the ability to monitor and manage your energy states, emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in ways that are acceptable and produce positive results such as well-being, loving relationships, and learning. It is how we deal with stressors, and as such lays the foundation for all other activities. Imagine life is like a poker game. Unfortunately for many people, the game is stacked against you. Everyone gets dealt cards that they like and cards that they don't like. A wise man plays the game like he is in the center of the hurricane. In that state, no matter what cards are dealt to you, you don't flinch. It doesn't matter what the card is. The average person will get overjoyed or flustered by the cards that are dealt to them. Humanity keeps looking for the royal flush, which will never happen while you play the game of poker externally. This is why I say the poker game is stacked against you. The wise ones have said this for thousands of years. Most of humanity never listens to them. The common day expression would be, we are so busy texting on the freeway of life. What does self-regulate do to solve this problem? Self-regulate is the process of moment by moment interpreting the situation around oneself and in oneself and making small adjustments to prevent thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions that are detrimental to us and the outside world. Mind you, 95% of our actions come from our subconscious mind. This is another reason why I say the poker game of life is stacked against you. The odds of you winning the game of life are against you. This is if you continue playing the game like you have been since you were born. Nobody taught us the tricks of the trade. The wise men have given out these tricks freely to humanity, but humanity doesn't listen. Some do, yet the majority don't. To self-regulate, one must be aware and conscious. One must learn the art of being in silence. Silence is either your friend or your worst enemy. For one who is not trained in their mind, it is a frightening experience to be silent. If you put a person in solitary confinement in prison, ultimately they will probably go crazy. Put a Buddhist monk into solitary confinement, and they will enlighten over time. Big difference. I'm not saying you have to go to a cave to change your life. I'm saying that in each and every moment you have the opportunity to self-regulate. We have two options. One is to be like leaves scattered in the wind. We can react to each event and get happy or sad, love or anger. The list goes on with the opposites of each other. A wise man understands the rules of the game. They see the outcomes and they don't play the game consciously. Even when you play the game consciously, it's very challenging, yet very rewarding. This game is going from darkness to light. I say many, many times, the spiritual life is the most practical life. And every moment you must be aware you will fall countless times. Just smile when you fall. Just smile when you don't fall. You are conditioning yourself not to react to any given outside situation. It seems so obvious, yet it's not. We've been playing this poker game for thousands of years, and it seems like we aren't playing this game any better since we first started playing the game. The wise men of old played this game just like you are. The only difference is that they made constant effort, moment by moment, to self-regulate in each situation that arises. Sure, they made mistakes. That is part of the game. One can learn from your mistakes. Even the universe makes mistakes. Sometimes these mistakes morph and change into something so much better. Everything morphs and changes. Everything is constant. When a person learns how to self-regulate, he is an emotional, mature adult. He will not blame others. He will not mock others. He will tolerate all his fellow men. He will be kind and considerate towards others. He will see the thread of love tying us all together. One who will be in harmony with nature and the universe. One gathers wisdom and patience to know that any problem can be solved. A person in this state knows how to compromise. He knows that everyone has a distinct point of view. He knows that each one of us is a unique flower in life. Many moons ago, I didn't know the significance of gratitude and self-regulate in my life. I thought meditation was the answer. Meditation is the answer, yet one must use the tools in the toolbox. Each tool contributes to the building of the house inside of you. One learns how to be a skilled craftsman when we use the necessary tools at the appropriate time. He won't use a hammer when a screwdriver is needed. During this present time, there are so many incredible tools out there. The first step for an individual is to ponder, what are we saying? Most of humanity is so busy living their lives that they never think or ponder, where are they going in life? Humanity tends to wander all over the place, searching for the jewel that exists inside of them. A mature individual ponders and questions, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? When a person asks this question, he opens the door to the possibility to discover his true nature. You can learn this precious art. All it takes is your will alone. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can do the work for you. A savior will not save you. You have to save yourself. The 4-minute workout. Nitric oxide boosts at any age. Dr. Zach Bush by Jane Howe. Who would have thought that a 4-minute workout could do so much good for your body and soul? Well, this simple combination of movements created by Dr. Zach Bush carries this post. I'm going to get you on the benefits, how to do it, and how your ways you can modify it to fit your practical needs. This is a workout that anyone can do. Who is Zach Bush? Dr. Zach Bush is someone I hold in high regard and has been following for quite some time now. He is a doctor of endocrinology, metabolism, internal medicine, and palliative care, and is one of the few triple certified physicians in the nation. This man is humble and so full of sound knowledge. What is the 4-minute workout? This 4-minute workout uses simple movements quickly and correctly with purpose. Bursts of easy-to-remember movements are done rapidly. Focus on form, technique, and speed. Best of all, it's convenient. You can do this exercise anywhere in your home, garden, workplace, and even the airport before a long flight. It doesn't require any fancy equipment, and you don't have to get your exercise clothes to do it. The 4-minute workout is a new concept for exercise that revolves around the body's ability to use nitric oxide for muscle growth. This is an efficient anaerobic workout that can be done multiple times per day. The more frequently you do it, the better your results. This exercise is often referred to as the nitric oxygen dump because when you move in this way, nitric oxide is released and it makes downstream blood vessels dilate, allowing more oxygen and nutrient delivery to the whole body. In just 4 minutes, you exercise the 16 largest muscle groups in your body. It is free, easy, effective, and the best way to start toning your body system. What is nitric oxide? Your body produces nitric oxide as a molecule that circulates in your body and releases the inner muscles of the blood vessels, causing them to widen and to increase circulation. Nitric oxide production is essential for overall health because it allows blood nutrients and oxygen to travel to every part of your body efficiently and effectively. What are the benefits of the 4-minute workout? Boost cardiovascular health, decreases the viscosity of our blood, increases the flexibility and elasticity of arteries and veins, helps moderate blood sugar levels, produce proteins that keep your muscles at their optimum levels. Another reason why you should be doing the nitric oxide dump is the benefits for your mitochondria, heart health by slowing down agitated muscle decline. By doing the exercise, your mitochondria begins to produce means that keep your muscles performing at the peak levels, especially for aging adults. I think that these are enough reasons to take this seriously and give it a go. What do you think? How to do the 4-minute workout? Dr. Bush recommends doing the exercises 3 times a day. Some days I don't get all 3 in, but even one, gets better than anything. So do what you do. I love taking the 3-minute workout after sitting at the computer for extended time. I feel energized and ready to get back to work. Please remember that form is more important than speed. As you get more used to it, you can increase speed. One session takes about 4 minutes and consists of 3 sets with 12 repetitions of the following exercises: squats, arm rises, circular arm swings, shoulder presses. Prana, power behind your breath. You are the universe, and you just don't know it. This human body contains the entire universe existing inside of you. This is who you truly are. The older I get, I see what a marvelous body we have been given. It has been set up since we were born so we could discover our true nature. Wow, we are alive. And unfortunately, we're just texting on the freeway of life. We're looking externally for the answer. The answer only exists inside of you. Just think the same power behind your breath is the same power that is keeping the universe alive. Yet we are oblivious to this. I find that quite funny and ironic. It's like that saying, how can a fish drown in water? Prana is life force energy. Just think, the moment you were born, you took your first breath. At the moment of death, you take your last breath. They can try to bring you back after you die, but after you take your last breath, a life force energy no longer is there. Prana is a life force energy that is keeping you alive. It is keeping the entire universe alive. Even universes come and go like a thief in the night. Who knows how long a universe can live? Ultimately, anything that is created will someday die in the end. That is the law of creation. There have been many universes created before ours. We are the new kid on the block. I find it amazing that the Creator built us in such a way that we could experience the divine. Yet we carry on our 9-to-5 existence, oblivious to the majestic that exists inside of us. One does not leapfrog into eternity. Small baby steps are needed along the way. I use the expression, fine-tune the guitar of life. I mean this quite literally. One must fine-tune the guitar of life. The guitar that we are playing is external. Consequently, we are out of tune. We no longer can hear the music that exists inside of us. We have lost touch with our true nature. We place so much of our attention externally. We have no idea that there's a jewel that lies within us. Quite frankly, most people aren't even interested in discovering their true nature. Are we so snared in the web of life that we have no interest in getting a way out of it? What would happen if a society just turned things around? Currently, we only look externally. We get affected by the world around us. We go into a tizzy with events that occur all around us. We can't see the forest from the trees. Much of the world can't even sleep at night due to the stress that we go through. Mind you, most of this is our own mental stress. Imagine a world where instead of being like leaves blowing in the wind, one can live in the center of a hurricane. What a huge difference that would make. The mind is like a tuning fork. Whatever it focuses on, it becomes that frequency. If you are constantly stressed out and your mind is focused and concentrated on only external events, you will be quite stressed in life. When the mind is focused on the center of the hurricane, perfect calm exists inside. When a person is perfectly calm, there is no storm outside of him. The same series of events can happen to two people and each one of them will respond differently. A wise man lives in the center of the hurricane. Curveballs will be thrown to him, yet he will still smile at life. A person who doesn't learn how to control his mind when curveballs are thrown his way will go into a tizzy. When the mind is focused externally, the tuning fork of life is not in balance and harmony. When the mind is not in harmony, your body, thoughts, and emotions will not be in harmony. Chaos will exist. The more society drifts away from its true nature, the more chaos will exist. Our present-day society doesn't see the value of being in harmony with nature and the universe. We can't put two and two together. A wise man understands that life is precious. We are here to realize our true nature. We are going from darkness to light. This entire creation is a dream. The wise man goes to the movie of life and sees that the projector of life streams light onto the screen. The majority of people watch the movie and think it's so real. The wise man turns around and sees there is a projector behind him that is sending images that bounces on the screen of life. We have this apparatus built inside of us. A wise person rejoices when they hear such great news. Most people's reaction is, don't bother me. I don't want anybody to convert me. Note, this is not a conversion. This is your true nature. The older I get, I'm constantly amazed at the beauty behind this human body. It really is a crown of creation. The three fundamental nadis, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. A Sadhguru speaks about three fundamental nadis, or energy pathways in the system, the Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Sadhguru spoke about the three fundamental nadis, or energy pathways in the system, the Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Sadhguru, within the spine, if you knew its physical construction, you would know there are two holes on either side of the spine, which are like conduit pipes for all the nerves to pass. This is the Ida and the Pingala, the left and right channels. In the Brahma Moshka, or the energy body, there are 72,000 nadis. The 72,000 nadis spring from three basic nadis, the left, the right, and the central, the Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. The word nad does not mean nerve. Nadis are pathways or channels of prana in the system. These 72,000 nadis don't have a physical manifestation. In the sense, if you cut the body and you look at it, you won't find them. But as you become more aware, you will notice the energy is not moving at random. It is moving in established pathways. There are 72,000 different ways in which the energy or prana moves. Only when enter into the Sushumna, life really begins. The Ida and Pingala represents the basic duality in this existence. It is this duality which we traditionally personify as Shiva and Shakti. Or you can simply call it masculine and feminine, or it can be the logical and the intuitive aspect of you. It is based on that life is created. Without these two dualities, life wouldn't exist as it does right now. In the beginning, everything is primordial. There is no duality. But once creation happens, there is duality. When I say masculine and feminine, I'm not talking in terms of sex, about being male or female, but in terms of certain qualities in nature. Certain qualities in nature have been identified as masculine, certain other qualities have been identified as female. You may be a man, but if your Ida is more pronounced, the feminine may be dominant in you. You may be a woman, but if your Pingala is more pronounced, the masculine may be dominant in you. Bringing a balance between the Ida and Pingala will make you effective in the world. It will make you handle little aspects well. Most people live and die in Ida and Pingala. Sushumna, the central space, remains dormant. But Sushumna is the most significant aspect of human psychology. Only when energies enter into Sushumna, life really begins. Varyaga. Fundamentally, Sushumna is attributeless. It has no quality of its own. It is like an empty space. If there's empty space, you can create anything you want. Once energies enter into the Sushumna, we say you attain to Varyaga. Raga means color. Varyag means no color. You have become transparent. If you have become transparent, if what is behind you is red, you turn red too. But what is behind you is blue, you turn blue too. And what if behind you is yellow, you turn yellow too. You are unprejudiced. Wherever you are, you become a part of that. But nothing sticks to you. Only if you are like this, only if you are in a state of Varyag, then you will dare to experience all dimensions of life when you live here. Right now, you are reasonably balanced, but for some reason, the outside situation goes crazy. You will also go crazy in reaction to that, because that is the nature of Ida and Pingala. It is reactive to what is outside. But once the energies enter into Sushumna, you attain to a new kind of balance, an inner balance, where whatever happens outside, there's a certain space within you which never gets disturbed, which is never in any kind of turmoil, which cannot be touched by the outside situations. Only if you create this stable situation within yourself, you will dare to scale the peaks of consciousness. Sine waves. The complete life cycle of the universe is a complete one-period sine wave. Negative to positive, half cycle of sine wave represents active states, whereas positive to negative, half cycle represents the latent state of the universe. Abstract. We know that everything has a life cycle. All living things, non-living things, countries, world, astronomical bodies, solar systems, galaxies, the universe. Everything has a life cycle. According to Fourier, any physical phenomena can be explained by a sine wave. Any arbitrary signal or physical phenomena is actually a combination of d constant art, a sine wave with fundamental time period and its harmonics. If we remove the harmonics from any arbitrary signal or physical phenomena, we will be left with only a sine wave, a fundamental period. The sine wave of fundamental period possesses over 90% of the signal's energy. This, if we remove all harmonics, we actually do not lose much energy of the signal. But we will get the basic shape of the signal or physical phenomena. A sine wave is the basic building blocks of all physical phenomena, including the life cycle of everything from my living things to the universe. A sine wave is the ideal shape of any life cycle. Little deviation is allowed by nature to form another shape from the basic sine wave. These deviations, although very little, can be termed as the effect of imaginary time that introduces unpredictability in the life cycle. The amount of deviation signifies the amount of unpredictability in the life cycle. The amount of unpredictability signifies the amount of imaginary time involved in life cycle. The amount of deviation, amount of harmonics, actually gives different shapes to the different life cycles. But if we do smoothing out the deviation by averaging them, we will be left with the sine wave basic building blocks of the universe. Meditate constantly. In our last chapter, we talk about sine waves. We know that everything has a life cycle. All living things, non-living things, countries, the world, astronomical bodies, the solar system, galaxies, the universe. Everything has a life cycle. According to Fourier, any physical phenomenon can be explained by a sine wave. Any arbitrary sine or physical phenomena is actually a combination of the constant part, a sine wave with a fundamental time period and its harmonics. When I was young, around 18 years old, I found out the word universe comes from the Latin universal, which means one word. From my practical experience in meditation, one can experience the sine wave behind the universe. This sine wave is keeping you alive. Mystics of old have said for thousands of years that you are hardwired for this experience. The mysteries of the universe exist inside of you. Unfortunately, we have never turned on this computer inside of us. The operating system, hardware, and software has been there since you were born. I love this phrase from Fran Roth, who said that meditation is perfect concentration upon a perfect point. Behind your breath lies the sine waves of life. Most of us aren't even aware that we are breathing. Imagine your breath is like a wave. You have an incoming wave and the outcoming wave. Just like a surfer being in the ocean and experiencing the wave of life. The tides go in and the tide goes out. This is a rhythm too, the universal life force. What does meditation have to do with all this? Mind you, Most people think meditation is only when you close your eyes. One can learn how to always to be in a state of meditation. Behind your breath lies the answer. Usually, when I tell someone to focus on their breath, they simply roll their eyes and probably laugh to themselves. What a crazy idea that is. Yet something so simple, the mind can't believe it. It's like Occam's razor. Most humans want the keys to life to be so complicated. So here it is. We are breathing each moment. The trick is that we are not paying attention to the force of love behind your breath. I say over and over that the more attention you pay to something, the more attention it pays to you. This is a basic law in life. People often ask if it is inside of me. Why don't I know about it? I would say, have you paid any attention to it? Do you know that the inner Joel exists inside of you? Let's be frank. It's quite simple. Many people simply don't want someone to rock their boat to cause any waves. They are just satisfied with where they are in life. Even if it's something a million times more incredible, they don't want to hear about it. I often say we live our lives like leaves blowing in the wind. A wise man lives in the center of the hurricane. When a person concentrates his mind on the power behind his breath, this is the center of the hurricane. The more one does this, the more centered one will become. It's like a tuning fork. When the mind is tuned to calmness, it will become calm over time. There is a state inside of you that is constantly calm. Nothing external can touch it. Nothing external can affect it. Its true state is perfect calm. The mystics in yoga have known this for thousands of years. Modern-day scientists know about the quantum field and how it is beyond time and space. They are studying the effects of meditation using the latest scientific instruments. These are exciting times for all of us. The human body was made for this. You are responsible for your chemistry set. Nobody turns on the chemicals inside of you. Only you do that. Just think, curveballs will always be thrown your way. If your life is trying to control the external world, you will indeed suffer and have pain. The external world has its pair of opposites. There is no disputing that fact. Everything morphs and changes. Everything comes and goes. Being in the center of the hurricane means the mind is perfectly still in the center of the hurricane. From that state, one can live in absolute calm and live in this chaotic world. It's like a lotus flower. A lotus flower lives in the dirty, mucky water, and yet the flower itself never touches the dirty water. This is our true nature. Granted, this does take time. One does not leap into infinity. Baby steps are taken, yet each step brings us closer to our goal. We are going from darkness to light. The ancient ones would talk about the sine wave. They wouldn't say sine wave, yet they would probably say the wave of life and love. There is a primordial vibration that is keeping the entire universe alive. This primordial vibration is keeping you alive. There's a thread tying us all together. Because we are focused only externally, we think we are separate. Nothing can be further from the truth. Talk to any quantum scientist and he will say that the quantum field exists everywhere and you are a part of it. This is not some philosophy or theory. This can be a practical experience for you. Rocket your body with good foods. My twin brother John just wrote the following song. A sane man would not want that. I feel it's extremely appropriate for the chapter Rocket Your Body with Good Foods. Imagine if NASA wanted to go to the moon and they used junk fuel to get there. Imagine if they built the rocket ship using spare parts. Imagine if there is no planning involved and just whatever comes our way. We would all laugh at such matters. We all know when the United States went to the moon for the first time, a decade's worth of planning was involved. Mind you, we didn't have the sophistication for the computers we have today. Your cell phone is probably around 1,000 times more powerful than the computers on board the Apollo. We have this incredible human body. It was designed for us to discover our true nature. The operating system, hardware, and software have been there since we've been born. I find it appalling, the fuel that we intake into this precious human body. These things, for most of the world, anything goes. Walk into a grocery store today. I would say probably around 95% of the foods are not good for you. In advanced society, they probably wouldn't be allowed at all for a company to sell. We live in a capitalist society, regardless of how bad it is for you. If it makes money for the shareholders, anything goes. The junk food industry is making billions of dollars off you. They know their product is more addicting than cocaine. Cocaine is illegal to sell, while Coke and Pepsi are legal. I've been doing research lately on sugar and how mind blown by the amount of devastation that occurs when a person eats too much sugar. Almost all processed food and junk food contain sugar. They even put sugar in your vitamin C drinks. The world at large is destroying its bodies through the food that they consume. Most people, even if they do know there is a problem, don't want to change for the better. I have friends who are diabetic and take metformin and continue their old ways and habits. The thought of changing is daunting to them. I can't live without my sweet tooth. The problem is, we don't think there is a problem. We hear about the latest research, yet we don't want to listen. Our attitude is, don't rock my boat. Don't tell me what to do. We have a healthcare system that is out of control. Most America today is probably pre-diabetic, and yet it's a ticking time bomb. Most people aren't even aware of it. Just think sugar over time starts to shut down the system slowly, one at a time. Most diseases probably come from this imbalance. When cells can't communicate properly, damage will occur throughout the body. The body can repair itself. One must learn how to be in harmony with the body and nature. I know for many people, this may seem like fluffy words. It probably doesn't make any sense at all. Our lifestyles are so out of sync with nature. That is a major problem today. My brother's son A sane man would never want it as an oxymoron. The problem is we think we are sane. In our minds, we think, I can eat whatever I want. This really can't harm me that much. Even if it does harm me, I can take medicine and I can continue eating what I want. This is the mindset of man today. Yesterday, I was talking to my dear friend David. We both know there are no ideal foods for everybody. Everybody has their own unique chemistry set. What works for you might be poison for me. What is good for me might be poison for you. Each individual has to morph and change to find out what foods are best for your chemistry set. Obviously, you can take out all the processed foods. This has been proven and researched for many years. This will and does cause havoc upon your chemistry set. It was not designed for your well-being. This is why it's called junk food. There's a reason behind it. Remember, they are making that processed food in order to make a huge profit. They know if they get you addicted to that taste, then that it delivers, you will buy again and again. They are solely into it to make money. We live in a society where profits are more important than the well-being of their citizens. If you want to live a stress-free life, if you want to know how to go beyond the pain and suffering you are in, if you want to be healthy, once again, my advice would be to ponder these words over and over again. There is a practical solution for you to take. It's up to you to change for the better. Nobody else can do the change for you. Change is never easy. Some people prefer to live in their misery so they don't have to change. I find that sad. The foods that you ate contribute to the chemicals that gets released into your body and mind. Junk food leads to cloudy thinking. Junk food leads to disease. Scientists know about the microbiome. The state of your microbiome is reflected to the fuel that you put into your body. A person who loves sugar, their microbiome will be in a state where it will send signals to the brain. I want more sugar. I want more sugar. I want more sugar. That is called an addiction. There is an endless loop going on. Most people have no idea that this is going on inside of them. The same withdrawal symptoms a cocaine user goes through are the same symptoms of a person who is addicted to sugar goes through. It takes time and effort for this addiction not to control you any longer. When the body doesn't have sugar for a certain period, the microbiome will change for the better. When a person learns how to eat a healthy diet, the microbiome will send signals to the brain saying, I want to eat more good food. I feel so much more energetic and healthy. I love this new feeling. What I'm trying to say is, I'm saying that we can change for the better. There are practical solutions to the problems that the two are facing today. Each one of us has to take responsibility for changing for the better. It seems like the government won't put out any practical policies in motion. Our Rita, the divine nectar, by Tristan Darling. I started to feel a sweet liquid which trickles down the back of my throat, which seems to be connected to my spiritual practice. It tastes actually amazing and is sweet but bitter at the same time. Do you know what it is? Answer. This is a substance called amrita. The word means nectar and also immortal in Sanskrit. It is a substance which is produced by the human body once the flow of kundalini through the central channel becomes strong. Sexual fluids and essences are drawn up into the bladder through a process called natural vajola. From here, prana from these essences rise up in the Manipura chakra and mixes with other pranas there. This is the reason that the Manipura chakra is sometimes called the cauldron in other traditions. A substance called soma is produced as a result of this mixture of the pranas, and this is drawn up through the body into the head. Soma is also an etheric substance, non-physical, so it travels through the systems of subtle energetic pathways which compromise the pranic body. Once it reaches the head, it is transformed into amrita. The amrita can then trickle down into the mouth where it can be tasted. Amrita can also bubble up through the higher chakras, especially the crown, the third eye, and the chakra on the top back of the head called the Bindu chakra. When the amrita comes out of the highest chakras, it is still then trickled down the head and face. It feels like the drops of oil or honey as it comes down. The amrita is then reabsorbed into the subtle neurology to be reused. It is very blissful and intoxicating experience, and is one of the fruits of yoga. Brahmacharya is the important aspect in the production of amrita, as a loss of sexual fluids and energy through sexual activity can inhibit its production. Amrita, our true identity and nectar of immortality, created by Yoga Tech. Amrita is a Sanskrit term with two translations, one of them being immortality, and the other one being nectar. It is said that Amrita is related to the Greek word ambrosia, which also translates into nectar. In Sanskrit, the word Amrita carries two very different meanings with the word itself. But one could argue that the two different purposes still are connected, since both of them are related to an elevated state of self-awareness. A self-awareness to strive for, connecting you to the universe. This high level of self-awareness is said to be reached through online yoga practice and meditation. One of the meanings behind Amrita is that it's another name for the deathless spirit Atman. Atman is the transcendent self or spirit, which is eternal and super conscious. Atman is said to be our true nature or identity and our most inner self. In Hindu, Atman is said to be the individual soul and the innermost deep part of all living beings. The human body itself can age, die, and wither, but the Atman will continue to live always, moving forward from one body to the next, continuing to arrive until it reaches Brahman. Each person's Atman is said to be a part of the universal Brahman, which is believed to be the ultimate reality. When practicing yoga and meditation, you can increase self-awareness and self-knowledge, which can lead to the revelation of the inner self. According to Hindu, the word Amrita was used to describe a drink known as soma. The legend says that soma was given to the gods, making them immortal. The other meaning of Amrita refers to the nectar of immortality that is said to flow through our pituitary glands into the back of the throat during the deeper stages of meditation produced by the body itself. When you reach a state of meditation where your Amrita flows, it is said that you have achieved to a higher level of self-awareness and a deep sense of consciousness. Reaching Amrita is said to turn our bodies into the divine body, Diva de Delta, that final destination turning us into a perfect being, Siddha. Amrita, the liquid of immortality, is like nectar. It excludes from the Chandra center in the back of the head, deep below the eyebrows. Who swallows the clear liquid dripping from the brain into the heart and obtained by means of meditation becomes free from disease and tender in the body like the stalk of a lotus and will live a very long life. Hatha Yoga Pradaka. Kurma Nadi, Journeying the Ocean for Nectar by Pandit Rajani Tugat, PhD, August 20, 2018. While practicing samana, concentration, meditation, and samadhi, Kurma Nadi, one attains stability of mind and thereby stability of body. Yoga Sutra 332. Churning the ocean for nectar. In Indian mythology, there is a story that the two aspects of creation, the bright and dark, good and bad, both hear that there is a nectar or liquid that, if drunk, would provide immortality. There had been an ongoing war between the demonic forces and the divine forces for thousands of years. Sometimes the constructive forces won, and sometimes the destructive forces won. Both were strong and wanted victory. So when each heard that there was a divine, immortal nectar, they went to the Creator, who is the Father of both good and bad, and each said, I pray to you, Father, can you tell me how to get the nectar? Yes, the Creator replied. Churn the ocean, and you will obtain it. From poison to nectar. How would they turn up a huge ocean? Neither side could do it by themselves. So they found an alliance and came up with an idea. They would use the Himalayas as the churning rod. Then the problem was to find something long enough to wrap around that they would be able to pull back and forth. Together, they went to the cosmic state called Vaslud, who is millions of miles long and required its help, and the snake agreed. So the gods caught hold of the tail of the snakes, and the demons caught hold of the mouth of the snake. They wrapped it around the Himalayas and started to churn. But there was another problem. The Himalayas were sinking. Humbly, they approached the cosmic turtle and asked, "Will you please hold the Himalayas on your back and be steady so that we can churn?" Just before you obtain the best and brightest, you sometimes go through the darkest phase of life. Obtaining its assistance, they began again, and as a result of their effort, one by one, wonderful things appeared. The rarest jewels, the best horse, the greatest elephant, the wisest doctor, the goodness of health, Lakshmi, the goddess of health, of wealth, Lakshmi. All these great things came out of the ocean. But the 13th thing to arise was a cosmic poison. Just before you obtain the best and brightest, you sometimes go through the darkest phase of life. However, no one on either side was ready to accept that. The whole world was scorching, burning from the heat of the cosmic poison. People were dying. Together they approached Shiva, who was above all pairs of opposites, pain and pleasure, and said, "We don't know how to drink this. We are looking for the nectar, not his poison." So Shiva drank the poison. The Great One knew how to drink it in such a skillful way that he did not go into the stomach, but he was held at the throat. The terrible poison was turned into a blue necklace. So one of Shiva's names is now Nikhanda, the Lord with the blue throat. Shiva is the one who knows the art of drinking poison and converting the bad into good without swallowing. The one who can live skillfully in the world and yet remain uninfected. And then the nectar arose from the ocean, and the story goes on from there. Finding a firm foundation. In this story, the tortoise is the foundation. Karma Nadi. If the tortoise moves, if the Himalayas move, then the serpent Kundalini cannot help anyone. The inhalation and the exhalation, the gods and the demons, are both pulling the snake, and by pulling one another, by taking turns, they move the Himalayas, the spine. They churn it constantly. By churning the Himalayas held tightly on the tortoise, the sadhana, or student, one day obtains the nectar. As we saw all through, the gods and the demons expected nectar. When they churned up first, they received the outer things, the jewels, the horse, the elephant, and so on, the distractions. Then, before the nectar, the best came. There was the poison. You have to drink the poison. If you're not capable of assimilating it or drinking it and making the best use of it, then you have to develop the greatest of all forces, called surrender. When you surrender, the Great One Shiva can come and drink the poison on your behalf. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. It'd still be a very tough time. Every student goes through this phase in sadhana, but when he is bewildered and frustrated and is almost ready to drop everything, he can call for help, just like Arjuna did in the Bhagavad Gita. Please, Krishna, I can't fight anymore. Then Krishna has to come and help, or Shiva has to come. The Lord within has to come forward and help. This is called grace, the descending force. The Lord catches hold of your hand and says, "Walk with me, my child. I will help you." Kurma Nadi, the tortoise within. We can all find our own foundation by understanding and gaining mystery over the tortoise within. Karma Nadi. There are 15 main nadis: Shashuma, Ida, Bengali, Gardari, Asvara, Kulu, Sarvati, Pushti, Shabhimli, Payanki, Varmi, Alatri, Vishnahar, Yishvardhavini, and Kuma. Karma in Sanskrit means tortoise or turtle. Kurma Nadi is related to Karma Prana. In Yoga Sutra 332, it is said, Karmante Siddhani, that while practicing Samaya, the threefold concentration, meditation, and samadhi on Karma Nadi, one attains stability of mind and thereby stability of the body. The first movement of Kundalini begins at the bottom of the spine, at the Kurma Nadi. When is this Kurma Nadi, and what does it do? Where is this Kurma Nadi, and what does it do? There are differing opinions. According to several Yoga Sutras commentaries, it is the hollow of the throat. It is true that by concentrating here, one attains freedom from hunger and thirst. But attaining freedom from hunger and thirst doesn't necessarily help to achieve stability of mind and body. There may still be other desires and urges to satisfy. Many other yoga manuals and commentaries, however, said that the Karma Nadi is at the bottom of the spine, between the anus and the genital organs, the locations for Asmuti Mudra. The problem we face is that in the scriptures we find so many contradictory interpretations that ultimately we have to go to an experienced teacher. Karma Nadi doesn't lead you anywhere. Rather, it helps you stay steady and allows other nadis to function in their specific range, in their specific field. The other nadis originate from the top of the Karma Nadi. The spine, Ida, and Pingala all stem from there. One can say, well, I'll concentrate on Sushumna and forget all the other nadis, because my purpose will be to accomplish just by having Sushumna under my control. That is certainly true, but Sushumna also rests on the top of the Karma Nadi, and the Karma Nadi is not stable. How can you expect the stability of Sushumna, Ida, or Pingala to be stable? That is the point. According to Swami Rama Swami, the very first movement of Kundalini begins at the bottom of the spine, at the Kurma Nadi, that takes place, which is the centermost part of your body when you are sitting comfortably with your head, neck, and trunk aligned. When your whole body is perfectly centered, then your entire center of gravity is at the Kuma nadi. As long as that nadi is in good shape, stable, and doesn't move, your mind is also steady. Mastery over the Kuma nadi. Theoretically, there is a much greater possibility of opening Sushumna while sitting in other Padasana, lotus posture, or sadhana, accomplished pose, because the whole body is centered in these poses. In sadhasa, one's best is not on your perineum. One's best is on your perineum area. In padasana, the body is perfectly centered. The nadis of both sides of the body are fully balanced. If you have a good padasana, then the body is even better centered than sananha. However, these two poses are often done incorrectly. You can injure your knees or create hemorrhoids if you do sadhana incorrectly. Similarly, if you are too forceful in your padasana and artificially impose a lock in your pose, you can create hemorrhoids. Swamiji used to discourage the use of padasana as a meditation posture because the area of the Kuma nadi tends to be too open and not under your control in that posture. So these practices are to be done mindfully and in moderation. If you can sit in these positions correctly, they can be beneficial. If not, they can cause more harm than good. Control over the karma nadi is more important than anything else in the practice of pranayama or meditation. To gain conscious control over both the karma nadi and the kara and the kuma vaya, one of the subcategories of prana, which refers to stability in the body as well as in the mind. It is important to practice Ashruta Mudra. Anatomically and physiology, the area of the Ashut Mudra is close to the colon, ovaries, uterus, and bladder. So each time you're doing Ashuddha Mudra, pulling up and releasing, you are attracting conscious control over all these organs. This also speeds up the process of blood circulation throughout your system. In the process, you can also letting your karma varga move, creating heat. That heat is dispersed throughout your body. From the karma nadi, or karma vayu, through Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna to all the nadis. Although Ashva Mudra doesn't give stability to mind and body on its own, it does increase the proper circulation of energy throughout our system. So wherever there is a little bit of blockage, whatever there is a little bit of impurity here or there, that energy will touch it and the process of purification will begin. In meditation, however, Ashva Mudra is the use. Mula Bandha, the root lock, is pulled up and held. This creates stability in our own physical body as well as energetically. The realm of Karma Vaya. Karma Vaya holds all the other Vayas. It is the scenery of the interior. Before you undertake any risk or protect, your internal situations has to be stable. Otherwise, if you are disturbed, it will be necessary to deal with that situation, and all other projects will either go very slowly or have to be stopped. Control over the karma nadi is more important than anything in the practice of pranayama. or meditation. That is what is holding Mula Bandha, the root lock. Does it? Should it become so effortlessly that it is held by itself, leaving the mind entirely free, so that all the mental energy can be fully directed towards the object of meditation? It's Mula Bandha. Here's a generated in such a state way, and the mind is concentrated, and Sushumna is open. The energy will only move upward. In that state, the head, the fire, pranic force, or kundalini force that wakes up from the kundalini nadi, kunda nadi, moves along Sushumna, becomes meditative energy, and enhancing the being of your meditation. Ashanti mudra is for a physical being, whereas Nadi Bandha is for meditative benefit. The people for whom Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutras did not know anatomy, so he did not describe the karma nadi, how it works, or why it helps anatomically. He simply suggested that one sits on the floor that is neither too hard nor too soft, be sturdy, and focus on the breath. Swamiji has introduced this very systematically. Sit with the head, neck, and trunk in a straight line. Draw out the root lock. Be comfortable and steady. In other words, the basic practice develop control over the karma nadi, and thus you purify yourself to prepare for the rising of Kundalini. As you are working with your karma nadi by practicing the use Himalayas Institute method of meditation. If so, you're already doing it, whether you know the name of karma nadi or not. If you are cooking your food with fire, whether you call it fire or not, it doesn't matter. You are getting the same results. So observe how you sit and the way you allow your body to be still. Remember to practice samana, concentration, meditation, and samadhi on the karma nadi while sitting and breathing in the correct way. You will gain control over karma vaya, allowing you to attain stability of body and mind. Source: Divine Magazine, 1990. Kichi Mudra, Tongue Lock, Steps, Benefits, and more. Sourced: First one. Perhaps you have heard yogis drinking nectar from inside of their head. In Hatha Yoga Pidaka, yoga considers Kichi Mudra as a practice to taste the bliss of nectar. What is Kichi Mudra? Kichi Mudra is a type of Mani Mudra. Mudra involves heel, in which the tongue is rolled up back and drawn deep to the narrow pharynx, nasal cavity. Then tongue is located back then into the nasal cavity behind the palate, so it's called tongue lock. Because Kichi Mudra stimulates the master gland pituitary, situated behind the nasal cavity, it's also king of all mudras. In spiritual language, the pituitary gland is the synonym of the third eye that is said to bring yogis to the highest stage of consciousness. To do this mudra, a practitioner should first practice rolling of the tongue With consistent practice, the tongue becomes flexible and it can be elongated to the pit of the throat. This is the point which a stimulation begins flowing, the Amrita, nectar of immortality. Kichi Mudra is also a technique of Kriya Yoga, which Tavana Kriya, tongue-palate exercise, practiced prior to it. In Tavita Kriya, the tongue is stretched in and out repeatedly so it becomes flexible and long enough to do Kichi Mudra. The easy version of Kichi Mudra is called Naho Mudra, when a practitioner is not able to touch the uvula, lower part of the nasal cavity. In this mudra, the tongue is pressed against the soft palate only. It's also called small Kichi Mudra. Kichi Mudra, meaning Kichi has two root words, ka and char. Ka means Brahman or space, which is infinite. Cha means obstacle-free, moving or flying. Mudra means a symbolic gesture. Kichi Mudra means a symbolic gesture of moving freely in the infinite space of Brahman. How is it so? Because Kichi Mudra left the tongue to pierce to the top and stimulates the pituitary gland. When the secretion of this gland takes place, it makes practitioners feel the bliss of moving freely into the infinite space of Brahman. Here in this video, Kriya Yoga Master Swami Nityananda Guri has described and demonstrated the Kichi Mudra. Kichi Mudra demonstration by Swami Nityananda Guri. Preparation. To practice Kichi Mudra, Hatha Yoga Pridaka mentioned freelam, skin below tongue that links it with the gums, should be cut in order to increase the extension of the tongue. Only recommended under the guidance of an experienced teacher, but it can be achieved without cutting freelam, as mentioned in Kriya Yoga and Raja Yoga. In order to prepare for Kichi Mudra, it can be done by exercising tongue and Talya Kriya, doing Nablo Mudra, tongue to the soft palate for the first few months. The tongue can be stretched like any other muscle. To prepare the tongue for Kichi Mudra, milking of the tongue is done for a few months before actual practice begins. Kichi Mudra, steps and stages. One should sit in a meditative pose and fix gaze to the center space between the eyes, third eye chakra. Close your mouth, take a few deep breaths, and this can do normal breathing. As a beginner, you can keep your mouth open to be more aware of tongue movement. Kichi Mudra, step 1. Soft palate to uvula, source, first one. To begin Kichi Mudra, extend your tongue up and then roll it back to reach as far as you can. Initially, the tongue may barely reach to the hard palate. Do fake swallowing to slide tongue up to the soft palate. Do it 3 to 4 times until your tongue rests comfortably at the soft palate. Now try to slide your tongue further into the mouth. If you can't do it by simple means, you can push the back of the tongue with your clean finger. Reach with the tongue at the bottom of your mouth where it touches the uvula, a punching bag-like structure in your mouth hanging over your tongue. Once you reach this, do it 3 to 4 times to get your tongue comfortably up to this point. Khichari Mudra Stage 2, passing the uvula. Now, as your tongue touching the uvula, open your glottis and touch and mouth quickly to blow a bit of air inside the throat. This strong burst of air will push rolled tongue behind the uvula, and your tongue will ready to enter into the narrow pharynx. Khichari Mudra Stage 3, slipping tongue into the nasospharynx. Once tongue makes its way behind the uvula, now it's time to find a place behind the uvula from where the tongue doesn't come to its previous position. This part will come naturally. The tongue will become slipping, but at the same time, there would be a strong urge of throwing off tongue. Keep breathing slowly. Observe what's happening inside your mouth. One just needs to come over this urge by observing the situation. Eventually, your tongue will start slipping into the nasal pharynx behind the soft place. This will take time, will take tongue to be upmost, where it touches a bony structure called the pituitary gland. Khichari Mudra Stage 4, pressing pituitary to secrete nectar. Up to this point, the tongue has reached beyond the top of the pharynx. You will feel an emptiness in the mouth on reaching up to this point. Tongue touching at the topmost point, here is nothing but space between your third eye, where you are asked to focus on it at the beginning of this practice. Psychologically, this is the seat of the pituitary gland, the master gland of the body. When the tongue presses against this, it gets stimulated. Some fluids will start accumulating in your mouth, but saliva won't be swallowed as long as your tongue remains up. Slowly bring your tongue down to the natural position, and you will find the taste of saliva accumulated inside your mouth. In the beginning, the taste of it will be better. It is a sign of detoxification of your body system, but with practice, you will realize the bitter taste becomes sweet, like honey, strawberry, and buttery taste. It's called Amrita, the bliss of nectar. And Hatha Yoga, Pridapka, wording of Khichari Mudra, working mechanics of Khichari Mudra in relation to chakras. The throat in our body is the junction point between the first 5 chakras associated with the 5 elements and the last 2 chakras beyond the earthly elements. Because of this junction, prana flow at the throat level gets interrupted, and our brain centers don't get enough prana, vital energy. Therefore, our minds distract often when we try to focus on one thought or one place. In Khichari Mudra, when the tongue is extended out to the pit of the throat, it creates a lock at this junction point. Hence, it's called tongue lock mudra. Now, prana can easily travel through this bypass to the higher chakras, Ajna and Sahasrara chakra. In this way, prana starts flowing freely and the mind becomes relaxed and focused. Khichari Mudra benefits. One who accomplishes this Khichari Mudra is neither troubled by disease nor death, lassitude, sleep, hunger, thirst, or unconsciousness. Hatha Yoga Pridaka 339. This mudra opens up blocked salivary glands and prevents painful systems of salivary gland disorders. As Kichi Mudra stimulates the pituitary gland, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. On parasympathetic system activation, your body conserves energy by slowing down the heart rate, low breath rate, 5 to 8 breaths per minute, and you feel relaxed. Kichi Mudra with Brahmari Pranayama is a very effective practice in case of hearing impairment and forgetfulness, dementia. Tongue rolled inside is a symbol of restraining your senses to go outwards. Also, if we fix the tongue in one place, like in this mudra, it's very difficult to talk to yourself. Eventually, thoughts get reduced. This way, Kichi Mudra is very helpful to draw mind inwards. That makes meditation much easier. The regular practice of Kichi Mudra removes symptoms of aging. It stimulates the pituitary gland that secretes growth hormones, also called anti-aging elixir. Kichi Mudra with Ujjayi breathing balances the secretion of the thyroid gland. Balanced secretion of the thyroid gland is very important to have a better metabolism, optimal body weight growth, and development. Kichi Mudra brings many spiritual powers like third eye chakra awakening, recognition, and extrasensory perception. It's a cleansing practice also there at the secretion of nectar detoxifies the body, clears the tongue, gag, and prevents bad breath. Kichi Mudra meditation is an effective technique to be in a tranquil state of mind. This mudra locks the air inside the lungs and prevents exhalation in deep meditation, which doesn't let our awareness to be scattered. It makes the tongue more sensitive to taste an individual element. Hence, Panchtava elements, 5 elements, dominancy or deficiency can be addressed easily by mastering this mudra. 5 tastes. Relation to the 5 elements: sweet, earth, sour, air, salty, water, pungent, ether, bitter, fire. Precautions. However, there are no side effects of Kichi Mudra, but one can notice blood sticking to the tip tongue, which while managing the tongue to reach the end of the nasal cavity. There is nothing to fear in this. One should keep following precautions in mind. This mudra is not advised to do without any guidance from an expert teacher. A low-protein diet should be taken while preparing for this mudra. Mastering stages 1 and 2 only itself can take around 6 to 7 months of practice, so it's not advised to practice all stages the first day only. A beginner should practice stage 1 until it gets comfortable. Cutting the furlong is done at an early stage and strictly advised to do under the guidance of a guru. Final words. Kichi Mudra is called King of all mudras because of its capability to stimulate the master gland of the body. Even if you are, as a beginner, isn't able to do full Kichi Mudra, small Kichi Mudra brings many benefits at the physical level. You can do this mudra anytime, but it's highly recommended during the meditation session. So whenever you sit for meditation, hold your tongue against the soft palate, and you will see it becomes easy to control your thoughts minimal thoughts. Perseverance. All beings on this earth has an expiration date marked to them. We can't see it, and we don't know when the end will come. Only that it will come. Masters spend their lives reminding us that our stay in this world is limited, and they offer us a path to the unlimited. They tell us that in every one of us there is a thirst to find lasting truth, happiness, and peace. We try to quench this thirst by every possible means: family and friends, girlfriends and boyfriends, worldly achievements and riches. All of this keeps us busy, going from one activity to another, but none of it satisfies us because this thirst is for something higher, something that is already within us and is our real essence. Somoji says in the Star Sparkling Poetry, "Why do you drink water, O swan soul? There's an ocean of nectar within you, which you can drink just by withdrawing your consciousness inside. Just as there are many different words for water, that substance we drink to satisfy our physical thirst, there are many different words for the inner nectar that will satisfy our spiritual thirst. Saints have called this inner nectar the Shabda, Holy Ghost, Word, and many other names. It's not the words that matter, but that inner reality. Saints give us the method of meditation to withdraw our attention to this nectar, this voice of God within us. But it isn't too easy to reach this everlasting bliss. That's why saints stress the importance of perseverance in our efforts to have our own direct inner experience of truth of the Lord within us. Helen Keller, a woman who became deaf and blind at 19 months of age, tells a story in her autobiography, The Story of My Life, about how she learned through direct experience. Her teacher, Anne Sullivan, was trying to teach Helen to connect letters and words with the names of objects. At first, Helen thought her teacher was just playing a game. Helen memorized the words but failed to realize that these words were the names of actual objects. It was until April 5th, 1887, when her teacher took Helen to an old pump house that Helen finally understood. Sullivan put one of Helen's hands under the stream of water coming from the pump and began spelling water into the palm of her other hand. Helen writes, "As the cool stream gushed over one hand, she spelled into the other the word water, first slowly, then rapidly. I stood still, my whole attention fixated upon the motions of her fingers. Suddenly, I felt a misty consciousness as of something forgotten, a thrill of returning thought, and somehow the mystery of language was revealed to me. I knew that water meant the wonderful, cool something that was flowing over my hand. That loving word awakened my soul, gave it light, hope, joy, set it free. There were barriers still, it is true, but barriers that could in time be swept away. Helen's understanding came after much effort and with much persistence on her part, and with the help of a remarkable teacher. Neither Helen nor her teacher was deterred by her past failures. They pressed on, and ultimately Helen developed an exceptional capability for communication and became one of the most admired and inspiring people in the world. On the spiritual path, we sometimes get hung up on the idea of success or failure, and we allow our lack of understanding to get in the way of persistence. In spiritual perspectives, Maharaj Charan Singh defines failure, and in doing so shows its value. Failure means that I've done my best to attain to meditation, but I couldn't succeed. Failure doesn't mean that I never attended to meditation. That is not failure. That is not even attempting. Failure means I have done my best. I have given my time. I have lived the way of life where I have been trying to build up my treasure. From every point of view, I have been keeping myself clean, but I have not achieved anything within myself. So that is my failure. That effort will not be lost. That is what is meant by failure. So our attempt is then our efforts are there, but the results are not in our hands. From that point of view, we could say that we have failed, but there is no failure. Even from a worldly perspective, perseverance in the face of so-called failure is essential. So Homuda Honda, founder of Honda Motors, said, "Success can be only achieved through repeated failure and introspection. In fact, success represents 1% of your work, which results only from the 99% that is called failure. When we are committed to accomplishing a goal, we naturally make continued efforts, even when we do not achieve immediate success. Honda understood that repeated effort is necessary for any meaningful success. It is only through persistence that we continue our efforts long enough to get to the 1% of the efforts that lead to success. As Honda recognizes that 1% and the other 99% are both viable, and we cannot have one without the other. Masters see clearly that what we call failure is a necessary part of our spiritual growth, just as Honda recognized that repeated effort and failure are integral to business and engineering success. In Spiritual Perspectives, Volume 2, Maharaj Charan Singh says, "Any time we devote to meditation, however imperfect that meditation be, it is so to our credit. It helps us to grow towards the path, so we should not think that our meditation is not very qualitative. We should think that it should at least be qualitative. Automatically, quality comes with quantity. If we don't start, we will never learn to walk. If we start, then naturally we fall also. We get bruises also. But as long as we get up and start walking again, we will ultimately learn. Our difficulties and failure in meditation have a part to play in our ultimate growth. For one thing, they provide us with a necessary lesson in humility. If we were to instantly have inner peace, perhaps we would think that these things are in our control. The truth is, as long as we identify with our bodies and minds, we are limited individuals putting forth limited efforts which can never be sufficient to enable us to reach the unlimited one. Our transformation will only take place when we come to a higher level. This can never happen with an ego-based approach. It can only happen with the Lord's grace, the help of a living Master, and the magic of love. Azar says in Die to Love, I only come when we don't do it. When we truly meditate, then I just disappears. Then we realize His grace. What counts is not what we achieve, but how much we try with sincerity. Then, with persistence and perseverance, just as Helen Keller was able to grow with the help of her teacher, we will surely succeed. Let's give it everything we can and always strive to keep our love fresh. For those who have love, nothing else matters. As you pursue regularly in meditation, you get ample joy and peace, which compensates for your labors and makes you cheerful and patiently look forward to ultimate victory. Charnsing. Whether you are knocking very softly at the door, whether you are knocking very hard at the door, and whether you are frightened to knock on the door and only shouting, you are at the door, and you want the door to be open to you. Even if we are nervous to knock, our intention is that the door should open and we should get admission. All efforts are there. Everybody has a different approach, but everybody who is on the path wants the door to be open. When we're sitting in meditation, whether we are knocking or whether we are too nervous to knock, we want the door to be open. This is why we are given time to meditate. Trillions of nerve cells firing off together. I find it fascinating that in any given moment, trillions of nerve cells are firing off inside of you. This human body is so incredible. And yet, we are almost oblivious to it, except for the ones who want to realize the grandeur that we are. I often say many times that the more attention you pay to something, the more attention it pays to you. Now, I'm not joking when I say that. And unfortunately, in this world, we pay most attention to the world in front of us and never to our true nature. Consequently, we are always struggling and treading water in the ocean of life. At times, the ocean is perfectly calm. For the next moment, a huge storm comes in, and you have to hold on for dear life. This is the nature of the world, my friend. During my research on this project and book, I've run across many different ways throughout the ages where people discovered unique places inside this human body. It seems to me that each organ has a unique chemical signature that can be released at any given time if given the proper conditions. Because we are on an autopilot most of the time, it is probably by chance that we may feel the benefit